Actually, you know what? I think we're gonna move down to the floor for this one. This one's gonna be a little bit, this is more of an impromptu video because it's been a really, really weird morning. Now, first of all, have you ever noticed, do you ever have premonitions? Do you ever have, not necessarily in the moment that you realize that you're having a premonition, something's about to happen, but more after the fact, when you actually see everything unfold, you can look back into the past and you can say, you know what? I kind of imagined this little scene in my head yesterday and I didn't even realize it. Well, yesterday I was walking through my neighborhood. I walk all the time. I love walking around. I walk miles and miles every single day, every single morning. And I actually stopped and looked at this truck that was driving by, and it was full of smashed cars. So it had it had a trailer on the back of it and it had two smashed vehicles. One vehicle that looked like my vehicle. And I remember I stopped, I looked in the truck going by, and I remember in my head just kind of going like, hold on, should I get my phone as a prop while I'm doing this? So my phone rings, right? I pick it up and it's my wife calling. And I say, okay, well, of course I'm gonna pick that one up. So I answer it. She hits a deer. What do you know? She smashed the car. It's on the side of the road. Everyone's okay. It happened. No airbags released. My 2-year-old daughter was in the car. She was fine. My wife was fine. Everyone was fine. Everyone seemed fine. It seemed like kind of a minor thing, but nonetheless, it was a lot of damage. It was a lot of damage to the car. Should I move over so I can put a shot of the actual car right here? And there you go. It just kind of complements the story, I guess. But nonetheless, what a weird turn of events. You know what? In a strange sort of way. And you know what? In a strange sort of way, as it was all happening, I had this kind of weird calmness about it. Almost like, you know what? Almost kind of when you know what to expect, it's not as bad. Still this shocking situation that's happening, and you know, what do I do? Where do we do? What's the next step? But in kind of the center of all that is the eye of the storm, and in that eye of the storm is that little spark that you noticed the other day, that I noticed the other day when I saw that weird truck going by, and I just kind of had that like, feeling. And I don't know, I thought that was really weird. That has absolutely nothing to do with this video. I've been waiting to do this video since last night, which is why I'm doing it, regardless of all of that drama that's going on in my life right now. Because this package right here showed up on my doorstep last night at about, I don't know, like 10 a.m. or so. Take a look at this. So this is how it actually came to me. It looks like someone might have decided to take a little peek inside my package here, so I'm not sure what that's all about. I actually do know what's inside of this thing. In fact, I mentioned it at the very end of my last video. Hold on, the lights haven't quite come on. What time is it? 10 more minutes until the lights come on. Let's turn this on. I even mentioned it at the very end of my last video when we were building the airplant-arium right back here. But I've got a shipment of air plants right down there, and we're gonna bust into that box right now. Someone decided to peek in it already, so I'm not sure what to actually expect. What I am actually expecting though is excitement, because air plants are brand new to me. I don't know too much about them. I bought all the air plants, I bought all the supplies for that terrarium back there. We built that thing together, and just, you know, a mere day later, now we've got a box of air plants. I was gonna try and do it like a cool like airplant-arium type thing with that, but we've got a simple box of air plants right there. Is it time? Should we finally pop into this sucker? Should we get into there, even though someone already kind of spoiled half of the treat? They didn't give away too much. I can't really see anything actually in there. Just a nice little bag from Heidi with some handwriting on it. It says the name of the air plants. I don't need to go through them. Number one, I can't really read them, but number two, I'm going to show you them on the screen in just a second. I'm going to hold these. I had the genius idea in my last was an unboxing video. I don't even know what it was, but where I held the plant up in front of the computer screen and showed like the version of what it was going to be. And I thought that was really, I just thought that was pretty dang clever. So we're going to do that again. Let me pull out the rest of this just to make sure I don't miss any of that. On my last shipment of air plants from the airplant-arium back there, I got a box similar to this, like this, but instead of having like a beautiful little bag that was all nicely taped up, all the air plants were just sort of like wrapped up into pieces of newspaper and then stuffed into there. And it was, to be honest, I almost threw like some of the smaller ones away. It was kind of, I don't know. I thought they could have done a little bit of a better job of you know, carefully packaging the product. I figure if I was packaging products for someone, I would do it with love. And that's what I appreciate. And you know what? You know what doing it with love is? Little things like writing my name right there on the corner of the bag. Your first peek into the bag. Into the bag of treats. They look a little bit bigger. You're seeing more of a first view than I can, because I cannot even look into the bag. I'm just looking at the tiny little screen that you're looking at. They're a little bit bigger looking than I thought they were. Wow, I'm excited. So again, these are air plants. It's a little bag of air plants. I think I'm going to save, we're going to start actually with the one kind of frosty looking one that I thought was just so super interesting. This one right here. Can you see a nice, can you see all those tiny little, like, almost like hairs, almost hairs on that thing? In fact, very similar to that. Kind of how this fern tree has all these little hairs growing off of it. And that's what attracted me to this plant. That's what the picture showed off, and that's what I'm I'm so excited that these are actually like adult looking plants. I just love the delicate nature. It reminds me sort of moss, but in more of like a exotic from some other planet or some other side of the world kind of thing. Where do air plants even come from? Man, the rabbit hole. I just want to say that the place that I've got all of these plants is called Artistic by Nature. Heidi, I couldn't find this plant. I couldn't find the page anymore. It must be sold out. I must have bought the last one. So I found another picture just to kind of show you what this is. But this is a spectacular terrarium air plant. And doesn't it look alien and strange and interesting? I would say that mine looks a little bit more green than the screen. But I bet you under the proper lighting, this thing is it's gonna glow like a little snowflake, was sort of my idea. That's what I thought when I saw the picture of this thing, is that it looked like a little planty snowflake. And that was the reason that I chose this one. So let me put you down again. So there was our spectacular terrarium air plant. And now what's next? We have got, I think we're just taking the whole chunk out in one. We've got one kind of big one in the front. In a way, you know what? Like, these are some crazy, weird looking air plants. And don't worry, I'm going to talk about these in a second, but I'm sort of glad that these didn't show up for the airplant-arium build back there, because those are just such a different variety. These are so like, I don't know, like Madagascar. That's kind of what I'm feeling when I look at an air plant like this. It's these whippy, like, wild tentacles just going off. And I imagine, you know, I don't even want to say an alien world, because we've got places in this world that are even crazier than this. But I imagine this comes from one of those places that lives in my head, like, ooh, all the lights just came on. Like, I don't know, Madagascar. I think that's what I was saying, right? And by the way, since we caught and barely even noticed that special moment of all of these lights just turning on at once, that means, number one, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. And number two, you would know what that means if you'd watched my automating the plant room video. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch my automating the plant room video. Basically, we go and we set up, you know, all these lights and everything to come on automatically. It's it's one of those things. It was fun. I enjoyed making that video. I thought I did a good job. I thought my rambling was very well done in that one. And you should go check that one out. But first, before you go check that video out, let's talk about what this individual one right here is. Now, both of these plants, they look kind of similar, both of these air plants. Hold on, let me put you down for 1 second just so I can hold them both up so you can see them. This one looks a little bit bigger, obviously, but overall, I mean, both of these look kind of the same, but they're different. So let's start with this one. This is a bulbosa Guatemala air plant. What did I say? Madagascar? Well, I should have said Guatemala, because this is the bulbosa Guatemala air plant. And we're not seeing a whole lot of those colors and that sort of thing in here yet, but this is sort of what we can expect when this thing maybe can bloom or something like that. But the thing that I like most about this bulbosa Guatemala air plant is just it just kind of looks like bulbous and big and weird, right? Like, isn't it weird? Like, don't you think something like this, not only do you not expect this to be growing out of the ground, but you definitely don't expect this thing to just be like growing in the air, just like laying around somewhere and doing it. So I don't even know what I'm going to do with these air plants. Like I said, I'm glad that they didn't actually come around when we were making the airplant-arium back here, because I mean, this guy wouldn't have even fit in this thing. But number two, they don't really go with the species of plants and everything that's in there. Who knows what sort of project will come up with this sort of thing. We'll leave that one right back there. For now, we've got one more to talk about. I've already showed it to you, in fact. And it's these little fellers down here, the three amigos. Again, I always buy things in odd numbers. So, 3, 1, 1. It's just kind of the way I work. These ones are very similar to our Guatemala air plant over there, but these ones are bulbosa Belize air plants. So again, very similar. We can expect to see some like colors or blooms or whatever that is in there. But, just I guess maybe a little bit of a smaller version than the Guatemala one. And that's our air plant unboxing. Again, kind of fortunate that these didn't come around, because it would have, to be honest with you, had these come before I actually built the airplant-arium over there, my entire plan for that whole thing would have been shifted around, and it would have been a chaotic mess of trying to plan the next project. So I'm glad these things came when they did. But for now, just like before, I think we're going to take these guys and put them right over here in another just a holding vessel, another rimless aquarium that I've had sitting around waiting for something. And basically I'll put them in here so that I have a place to mist them and not get all the walls wet and everything like that. And did I leave it in the video when I was building the big clay fern forest back there about how sometimes I just like to sort of get things into place, just kind of throw them together, throw them in a place like that so I can sit, I can watch them for a while, I can let them marinate, I can let ideas start to marinate. And then one day, you know what, I'm going to have a light bulb moment. And I've learned to sort of look out for those light bulb moments where you say, you know what, I do have all those air plants sitting in that rimless aquarium back there. That little idea that I just had, I could do it, and I could do it easily, I could do it fast, we could do it together right now, because I've already got everything in place. And that was actually why I bought these air plants, so that I would have them for whenever I decide to do something with them. Should this one maybe just sit? I kind of feel bad just putting them on the glass over there. I used the last piece of wood on the airplant-arium, guys. Sorry about that. Now this one could have potentially made it into the airplant-arium right back here. Honestly, I wouldn't have had room for both of these, but let's just maybe pop this in here for just a second. I just want to show you how that glows under the lights. Man, isn't that thing magnificent? But even though the spectacular terrarium air plant didn't make it into our airplant-arium build back here, it may be popping back up sooner than later, because I received another impulse buy the other day, and it was this little terrarium, this little jar back here. And just for, maybe. This is actually the next video that I'm going to record. I'm going to get recording this thing as soon as I turn the camera off from this one. And my idea with this little terrarium was just to have have no plan with you guys, to look through all the supplies that I already have here, to not purchase anything, to not plan anything, to not have a whole step 1, 2, 3 in place, but to just literally just, you know, search around the plant room, find different things to fill up this airplant-arium. And I can't promise you once we actually get going with this thing, again, it's just going to be completely off the cuff. I have zero plans for what we're going to do with this thing, but we're going to do something. And just maybe this spectacular terrarium can make it into there, because I do think that would make a pretty cool centerpiece for that terrarium. And I am sort of in the airplant vibe as of late, mostly because of our airplant-arium video. Did I tell you, if you haven't seen that video, you absolutely have to? I think, you know, it's obviously the newest, but, you know, obviously because it's the newest, it's my favorite terrarium build as of late, or airplant-arium build as of late. I don't think there's anything more I can say about an unboxing of some air plants. We talked plants. We saw some really cool new air plants. In the previous video, we got to see another variety of air plants and make this cool thing back here. And in this video, we got to experience air plants from another part of the world that were somehow all boxed up, shipped over to me here in North Carolina. We ripped it open, you witnessed it with me. And you know, now we just get to let these things sort of marinate into our head, and who knows what we'll come up with to do with these air plants. We live in this day and age where we can order things like strange air plants from Guatemala and Belize and all over the world. People can package them up, they can grow them in their greenhouses, they can send them to me here in North Carolina. We can rip open a box. It's literally like we as a species have created Christmas all the time. So sometimes I enjoy opening these boxes with you. Sometimes I like sharing the surprise with other people that enjoy, you know, being surprised by these sort of things. All I can hope for is that maybe those air plants back there that will inevitably inspire some sort of future project. Well, maybe those air plants, maybe you see in this video, maybe it'll inspire you to go out and get some, to do a little search on Etsy or something like that, and get some air plants of your own and build your own airplant-arium, or maybe something similar to what we're going to do next with whatever little vessel this is. So stay tuned for that video. Thank you for watching my airplant unboxing video. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing some. Again, air plants is one of those things that I'm just sort of falling down the rabbit hole with, pretty much like all of this stuff. And I'm excited to share all of the new things I learned with you. I hope you learned something new. We'll see you on the next one.